Hello, and welcome to Rethinking Our History, where we seek to shed a light on events that have been forgotten and covered up, and to make us all question how much do we really know about our history? I'm Felicia.
And I'm Ian, and we are here to reveal all the sordid details of history that have been swept under the rug. Get ready to get angry, be curious, and maybe have a laugh or two as we rethink our history.
Hello, friends.
Hey guys.
Thanks for joining us for another lesson, number 69. We are back this week with another missing persons case. This one I found in a comment from Autumnal Necks on Instagram. She had commented about this case of the Skelton brothers who went missing on Thanksgiving weekend in 2010. The main source for my notes this week comes from clickondetroit.com, a site ran by WDIV4 out of Detroit. They had almost an hour-long look into this case, which you can watch for yourself at the link in our show notes. These three boys went missing the day after Thanksgiving, Black Friday, November 26, 2010. Their parents were Tanya and John Skelton, who at the time were going through a divorce. John had the boys for the holiday and was supposed to return them that Friday. The boys were Andrew, 9, Alexander, 7, and Tanner, who was just 4. Normally, I try to stay away from stories that involve young kids due to being a mom of a child myself, but their mother deserves to have her sons back, no matter what condition they are in. That said, Tanya has a dark history herself. According to this show titled Black Friday Missing Skelton Boys, Tanya had been charged with fourth-degree sexual conduct for having sex with a 14-year-old. This was back in the 90s. I think it was one of those, like, she was, 18, he was, 14 situations.
Okay.
I could be wrong on that, but I think that's what that situation was.
Right.
According to John, he alleges she was abusing their sons and he gave them to a quote unquote group to keep them safe from her. Of course, Tanya denies any allegations of sex crimes with her own children. And she's very honest about what she did in the past. But she was like, absolutely no, not never my kids.
Sure.
Just other people's kids, I guess. John also has a history, especially involving taking off with his kids. Just months before they disappeared, John had pulled them out of school and taken them to Florida without telling Tanya. This was when the two began proceedings for a divorce, and Tanya was granted full custody as John was a long-haul truck driver. She had allowed the boys to spend Thanksgiving with their father out of kindness, not because she had to. It also didn't take long for police to figure out that John's claim that he gave the boys to a mystery group was a lie. Well, he had initially claimed he gave the boys to a woman named Joanne Taylor that he had met online, but once they figured out that was a lie, he changed his story. The small town of Morenci became flooded with state police and the FBI, who set out searching the area. An Amber Alert had already been issued, and law enforcement went over the town with a fine-tooth comb. They also pulled his phone records and were able to track his phone movements, and one would assume his movements as well. Ping showed that he had driven down to Ohio to farm country. This was an area he was familiar with, as he was a truck driver who drove down there quite often. Even stranger, when he got back home, or when records show his phone was back home, he started packing up his belongings and giving them to relatives. He gave them some vague excuse about not needing them anymore, but didn't say anything else. He did attempt to kill himself around this time. Some people have questioned where the boys are if John gave them to a mysterious group. One main place people have pointed to is the Amish community. There are various Amish communities across the state. In one interview with a young Amish girl, they asked if the community would accept children to care for, The girl says yes, but clarified that the community does know who the Skelton boys are, and most likely they would have called the police instead of taking them in. But it is possible.
Right.
When investigators finally got into the house, they found a chaotic scene. Everything that was fragile had been smashed, including a large cabinet. Power cords had been cut. They said there was nothing left usable in the house, just pure chaos and destruction. Now, John's family is a bunch of interesting characters. They swear up and down that John gave the boys over to someone else. His mother likes to believe that the boys have not contacted anyone because they are happy where they are. But not John has not told anyone where his children allegedly are, not even his family. The reporter in the story, Sandra, actually went to visit John in 2019. He claims he made a deal with a group known as the Underground Sanctuary to take the boys and send them to new homes. John claims that on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, he made the boys their favorite dinner and a cake to celebrate Andrew's birthday. They had dinner, and John claims they watched a movie and then went to bed. According to John, the next night, the night of Thanksgiving, two women, and a man came and took the boys away. John now says he regrets giving the boys away. Which, pretty sure you murdered them, but okay.
Right.
On November 30th, 2010, John was arrested for kidnapping. He pled no contest to unlawful imprisonment and was sentenced to 15 years in prison. The bodies of the three boys have never been found, as has no evidence of what happened to them or where they could be. John was set to be released from prison in November of 2025, and I'm not sure if that's what prompted this, but in March of 2025, Leanwe County Court declared the boys dead. In November, before he could be released, John Skelton was charged with the murder of all three of his sons.
Jeez.
And sadly, that is about all that we have on this case. I could not find the exact date, but a year or so ago, the remains of three young boys were found in Tennessee. These remains are being tested against the Skelton boys' DNA as well as the DNA from other missing children. Investigators do not think it is likely that these are the missing brothers, which would be worse. And I only say that because if it is not them, then there is another family missing three little boys.
Right.
I very much doubt this man handed his kids over to some super secret underground group that would actually take them to new homes and not just abuse them. And even if they did, they were not just his kids to give away. Their mother very much loves them and misses them and wants them to come home. If you have any information on the whereabouts of the Skelton boys, please call the Michigan State Police at 855 642 4847. And that is the sad and tragic case of the missing Skelton boys out of Michigan.
Wow.
And I never ask you how you like what you think about these because they suck.
Yeah.
So with that said, we hope you guys have a good week, and we will see you guys later.
Bye, guys.
Love you.
Be kind to each other.
Bye.
Bye.